tease to sickbay. The doctor should look at it as soon as possible.
It is the way in which we propagate our species. Please demonstrate how this is accomplished. So, what's next? I don't know.
Hi, and welcome to Casual Trek, a Star Trek recap and ranking podcast, brought to you by Nerd and Ty and Jeff, the original co-host of Casual Trek, whose parents never met thanks to a rogue time traveller. I miss Jeff. He was a poet, he was an exotic dancer in Molescombe. I hope he enjoys his last 2 hours of existence listening to us before he gets wiped from the time stream for good. I'm Charlie Etheridge Nunn. I'm a writer and a fan of the Astro City 1/2 issue, The Nearness of You, which, if you don't cry at that issue, you are a monster.
And I'm Mars Reed Lobato, a writer, and honestly, I'm not a fan of the novel Slaughterhouse-5 by Kurt Vonnegut Jr. It is my favorite novel of all time. And also, this might be the only episode where I can say, "Hello, Wisconsin!" and have it be relevant to what we're discussing, and I'm not just hopped up on cheese curds again.
Oh, wow. And, you know, it's not an episode about Ed Gein.
For a while, Rihanna, my wife, got so fed up of me making jokes about Ed Gein that I was allowed one Ed Gein joke a year.
Okay. I'm sorry if I've taken that up now.
No. Since Rihanna has really gotten into horror and read the fantastic graphic novel Have You Heard What Happened to Ed Gein by Eric Powell, who did The Goon, and just become more of a fan of horror movies, she's allowed me to make more Ed Gein references and jokes in her presence.
Wow, 2 a year then.
1.5.
Okay.
And that was not one of them.
It was a ghost, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's my book about haunted Britain that fell off. So, you may hear me get murdered by ghosts.
Ed, is that you? Are you okay?
God, how'd he get over here? Anyway, we ought to move on. Before I'm murdered by ghosts, at least. So yes, normally on Casual Trek, we watch stories from 3 different Star Trek shows and rank them on a big list of best to worst. And this episode, we're going through A Year of Hell. My partner, Emma, has raved about this 2-parter for a while, and it's been on the slate for a little bit, and yeah, I thought it's finally time. But before we do that, Mars, what non-Star Trek thing have you been enjoying since we last spoke?
Well, I'm gonna cheat again and have 2. On Friday, I did go to, admittedly, my first music gig in a long while, and with Rihanna and some work friends, we saw Weird Al Yankovic, which was a fantastic show, which ended with a live rendition of The Saga Begins. And yeah, it was a fantastic show. And then, as we were walking back to the car park, I recognized a friend of ours, and basically, as is tradition of all British men to their mates, will proceed to swear and berate them in front of their family, and call them hideous obscenities in public, which, you know, you only do to your friends if you're British, because you're that, you know, emotionally repressed.
Yeah, you've got to unleash it somehow.
Yeah.
Excellent. You said it was a couple of things.
And the second one was I recently got a subscription to the Criterion Channel streaming service, which, you know, is probably going to destroy my free time, to watch a film from 1971 called The Devils, written and directed by Ken Russell, one of Britain's most insane movie directors, where Oliver Reed plays... It's based on actual historical events. Oliver Reed plays a priest who cannot fucking keep it in his pants. And Vanessa Redgrave plays a hunchback nun who is sexually obsessed with Oliver Reed. And it all spirals from there. It's a metaphor for how politics and religion, shouldn't, work together to achieve their own separate nefarious ends. And thankfully, everyone saw Ken Russell's film about the problems of mixing political power with religious power, and we all said we should stop doing that.
Okay, wow, that's good of everyone.
But also, the film is insane. It is banned in the US. There's been no home release. Finding an uncut version film, even in the UK, took 30 years, and Mark Commode getting involved, because there is a scene where a group of nuns strip naked and have an orgy with a life-size crucifix statue of the crucified Christ.
Yeah, I can see. I can see why it got banned then. Yeah, wow, impressive work there.
I'm not going to recommend it, but I'm glad I saw it.
Okay, good.
So, Charlie,
Yeah,
what non-Star Trek and hopefully non-orgiastic thing have you enjoyed this past week?
so I have been making my Shonen Jump app subscription work for me. I finished rereading Dragon Ball, and rather than go straight on to Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, I ended up reading One Piece, going, well, it is the longest running manga that's there. Why not? And a little bit after starting that, I saw that the Warriors game was discounted extremely heavily on the Switch. So I downloaded it. I love the Dynasty Warriors games. So I was like, yeah, I've heard this is supposed to be a good series with some weird characters. And I've been playing One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, although I think I'm only just at the point in the comics where the game starts. So I've been doing the non-story based bits instead of kind of playing ahead of where I am, because the game tries to fit 1,100 issues into a single video game. So it evidently skips like the first 200 pretty much before it gets into the action. So yeah, that's been all right. My second thing I've been enjoying that I'd recommend is hot honey. I had some lovely hot honey and goat's cheese straws at lunch.
Ooh.
And I'm one of these people that often goes, ooh, sweet thing and savory thing. Ooh, no. What? Fruit and cheese? I love these things, but not together. That's banned. That's not right. And out of curiosity, I had this. I was like, ooh, that's rather nice. Apparently, I've been missing out on the hot honey and cheese.
Are you going to try and combine cheese and fruit, or is that still a crime against God?
Miles, I wouldn't go that far. You know where I would go far enough for, though?
I'm guessing the Delta Quadrant?
Yeah, exactly. For our episode of All-Voyager All the Time. And originally, for pairing up with Year of Hell, I was going to suggest the TNG. But instead, there's one which felt far too apt, because it's a rare bit of continuity. They reference a thing in one episode, and it happens in others, kind of. Not entirely, but kind of. So, our first episode is Star Trek Voyager Season 3, Episode 21, titled Before and After. It aired on the 9th of April 1997, written by Kenneth Biller, directed by Alan Croker. The US number one hit was Puff Daddy featuring Mace with Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, and the UK had R. Kelly with I Believe I Can Fly. We've encountered I Believe I Can Fly, and frankly, Space Jam is incredibly overrated as a nostalgic item.
I have honestly never seen Space Jam.
I think I saw it early in lockdown as one of the kind of house communal watches. And it's like, well, people get all nostalgic for it, and they're moaning about there being a number 2. of it and all that. Let's have a look. And it was like, yeah, it's not great. Like, if you saw it when it first came out, I'm sure you've got some fondness. I didn't, so I don't. What I do have fondness for, however, is Grandmaster Flash's The Message, which is sampled a lot in Puff Daddy's debut single, and made me pause for a moment going, no, it wasn't this I was remembering fondly. It's like, no, it's what it was sampling. That's all right. But yeah, it's a couple of tracks by people of slightly questionable actions.
Yep.
Yeah. And what is only slightly questionable will be your recap, as you have 5 minutes to tell us all about Kess, starting now.
We get a POV shot of someone in a gigantic kind of metal tube, which we find out will be called a biotemporal chamber. And there's the Doctor. And wait a second, he has hair, and it's more convincing than Shatner's. And he leans in and tells the person whose point of view we're seeing, Kez, you're my best friend. Flash, old Kez, who is at the age of 9, is in sickbay. The Doctor is consulting with a woman we've never seen before in a blue sciences uniform. And then this young child comes in, who is Andrew, Kez's grandson. What? And he has a late birthday present for her. Apparently, Kez is reaching the end of her accompanied life cycle and is going through something called the morologium. Kez, on the other hand, has no clue what is going on, and it hits freaking her out. Every so often, there'll be a drop in her temperature, and she will flash, it turns out, back through her life. It turns out that she married Tom Paris, and they had a child, Lissa, who is the woman in the blue science officer's uniform, who is a member of the crew, and she married Harry Kim. We're not going to talk about it. I think everyone's actually talking about it whenever Harry's not in the room, because you know what? Harry Kim married a 2-year-old. You're going to be talking about it. It's like that. It's like Spider-Man dating Moon Knight. You're always going to be talking about it. And Kez has no memories, and the first few times that she tries to tell someone, hey, something's really wrong here, she kind of gets fobbed off as being kind of senile, because as we've seen in Star Trek, people don't give a fuck about what the elderly go through in the Star Trek universe. They reach Kez's 9th birthday party, where Andrew, who is the only one who is kind of believing her, says, I'm sorry I'm late with your birthday present. I'm working on it. And this gives her the impetus to realize that how she can tell the others something's wrong. By the way, Neelix is now a security officer and has stopped being the cook. When Kez mentions the biotemporal chamber, the Doctor is surprised. He hasn't actually told her, but it's something he's been working on as a way to kind of rejuvenate her cells and keep her alive another couple of years. As she stays in this time, trying to piece together what happened, what is going on, and remember her life, it turns out that a few years earlier there's time called the Year of Hell, when Voyager was attacked by Krenin ships, like all the time, and Janeway and B'Elanna Torres were killed. Chakotay became captain, Tuvok became his first officer, and it was because of the pain of losing B'Elanna Torres that Tom and Kez finally got together. Clearly, she gave Neelix the brush off months ahead, and I don't blame her. And it turns out that the Krenin use a kind of chronoton torpedo, which is able to phase through the shields. And Kez starts to put together, maybe that this chronoton radiation has infected me, and then when the Doctor put me in the biotemporal chamber at the end of my life, it jump-started it kick-started my time displacement. And they go, okay, that's a good theory, we can work on that. And then Kez leaps out and leaps back in. Kez leaps back to the moment she's giving birth in a shuttlecraft from her sack, and which is that's gonna be shocking for anyone. She gives birth to the baby. They have to fly back to Voyager, Unfortunately, with the Doctor was offline during this period of time, and resources are so scarce, Chakotay is like, we can't help you. You understand that? And Kez is like, no, I understand, but I need to find out the exact temporal frequency of the chronoton torpedo which infected me, so the Doctor could use that to kind of cancel out the effects.
Time is up. That chronoton torpedo has done hit us in this virtual call. Anyway, carry on.
And then Kez leaps out again, and she's in the holodeck, where she's meeting B'Elanna Torres for the first time, and she realizes that is B'Elanna, and says, "You must be B'Elanna." And B'Elanna's like, "Okay, good joke, Kez." They're all called to the bridge as they're being attacked by the very first Krenin ship. Kez is able to give Janeway a little bit of information before Janeway and Torres are killed immediately by that grand old safety hazard in Star Trek, an exploding console. Seriously, what the fuck do they pack these things with? Kez leaps out again, but, and to the point where she first met the crew, and is able to finally explains to Janeway what's going on, and how there's a fear that as she's leaping back through her life, she will end up leaping to a point where the crew of the Voyager can't help her, or in fact leap back so far enough that she could leap back to before she was ever born. The Doctor is able to construct the biotemporal chamber early, and having gotten the torpedo signature from the Krenin torpedo, he's able to start cancelling out the corresponding radiation, but it's still not working, and Kez leaps back, and again, she is now a child, meeting her father, and then she leaps back to being born from a sack, and the baby looks fucking terrified, because the baby knows, and then she leaps back to an embryo, then a zygote, and then nothing. And then time starts moving forward, and we leap back to the present day for the show, where the Doctor, Janeway, and Torres have been able to cancel out the chronoton radiation that was affecting future Kez, and everything is going to be alright for Kez. Unfortunately, she is still in a relationship with Neelix, and when everyone asks her what she knows about the future, she tells them about the Krenin, but all the other stuff she keeps to herself. Like Harry Kim marrying a 2-year-old. And becoming his best mate's son-in-law.
That's a horrifying 2 minutes and 25 over. Yeah, Jesus Christ, Harry.
Harry...
I'm not saying we approve of what Neelix did, but Neelix is a freak, we get it.
The thing is, Tom Paris, who, when we first meet him in the show, is like your swaggering, kind of sexy bad boy. The moment he gets married, he apparently just turns into the nicest wife guy, who, even though his wife doesn't recognize him, he's like, it's okay, I still love you, we're gonna help you.
Yeah, and good for him.
Yeah.
It's really weird that his BFF is married to his daughter. That's...
Look,
Still, I had difficulty moving on from that when I was watching the episode.
And the thing is, you're an X-Men fan.
I am.
You have definitely read the story where a clone of Nate Gray from an alternate apocalyptic timeline makes out with his mother from the main timeline, who is a clone of his mother.
I mean, yeah, a resurrected clone of his mum from another timeline, or a ghost of actual Jean Grey from a much eviler timeline that replaces her at one point. Either way, it's really weird. Don't be like Nate Gray.
Well, I try and live my life by that standard.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are races with different scale lifespans than the human norm in Star Trek. We've seen like the Vulcans and Klingons who are exceptionally long-lived. So I'm sure there are races in Starfleet like the Accompans who are short-lived. It's still weird though.
Is Sarek getting together with a human the equivalent of Neelix getting together with Kes?
Quite possibly. I mean, it also doesn't help. Like, I can't, it's like Harry Kim is the original Jacob from Twilight.
Oh,
and it's just like, I'm gonna marry that.
Oh,
he has like no one else is gonna date Harry at this point. We're 3 seasons in. He has tried and failed with everybody he would be into. So I wouldn't put him past him to go to the doctor and say, "Doc, put me in a medical coma, so it's not weird." More than it already is.
Yeah. Oh well, poor Harry.
Poor Harry. So, the Doctor's hair.
That was a fun surprise at the start.
Yeah, that's a nice little kind of like, here's the future. He has hair. He has a name.
Yes,
He's Dr. Van Gogh, and originally it was going to be Dr. Mozart.
I'm not keen on either of those as names, to be quite honest. No offense to the Doctor.
I mean, if he called himself Dr. John Smith, it would be a bit on the nose because that's the alias that that Doctor Who goes by usually.
Yeah, I guess at least you're not going to bump into any other Van Goghs in the Delta Quadrant.
You never know.
Yeah, true. I'm not sure. I assume he's had some presence in something in Star Trek.
I mean, given that there's a running joke in Babylon 5 that Swedish meatballs exists with every species, but with a different name. But Swedish meatballs is like a galactic constant. Maybe like the name Van Gogh exists in every species.
Maybe. No, apparently he hasn't appeared, but he has had several references on Memory Alpha. So,
okay.
Yeah. This I loved the mechanic of this.
Yes.
The backwards time travel. And it could have got a bit tedious a bit quickly with her not knowing anything at first, and at least she retained everything going backwards, although that's got to be a scary old time when you're in the womb. Just like, oh, fuck. Oh, it's gone really bad now.
I think it helps that for the most part, this is Tuesday for Star Trek. So
True.
The moment she goes, like at first I didn't mention, at first they think it's like she's having precognitive visions. So like it's Star Trek, this is what they do. This is their bread and butter.
Yeah, and
it's Voyager. Weird time shit happens on the reg.
Yeah, and this feels like another good actual highlight episode for Kes, where she's given stuff to do other than being the Doctor's assistant or Neelix's child bride.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's like, oh god, yeah, she is good doing all this. Like, when she is old, she's still competent, she's still good at stuff, but she is evidently old in it. And between the makeup and her acting, it works.
I was worried that it was going to kind of get a bit uncomfortable into, like, say, Alzheimer's territory, where she is increasingly not knowing. I was worried that every time she would leap, she wouldn't know what was going on. But I was very glad that she would kind of, even though she lost her memory that first time, she was able to she retained her memory going forward as she was going backward.
God, I was so pleased because, yeah, and I appreciate that you've kept calling it leaping each time. So, yes. Yeah, it was interesting seeing the grandkid and then the daughter and going, oh, yeah, you can feel dynamics, relationships have happened. It felt like it was just a natural continuation from their perspective, even if Kes and the audience were confused by it all.
It's funny because given that Voyager seems to be the show where the reset button gets hit like every 45 minutes, it's nice like, oh, right, actually stuff can evolve.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, like the other shows, you get slow evolution, but yeah, often not enough and not as much for a sense of continuity. So that there was a mention of the Krenim. We'll get to the Krenim soon enough, and the Year of Hell, which I assume that they were already figuring out season 4 because that's the same year as this.
Yeah.
And the same director. So yeah, interesting seeing it all kind of developing. Although Chakotay as captain, it's like, oh no.
Okay, two things. One, I like the moment where we get a captain's log from Chakotay.
Yeah,
like that was a nice touch, because normally, like, usually when we have like an episode of when we have Star Trek happen and like the captain is either impaired or not the main focus of the story, we get like Odo in the second season of Detective Noir when it's from his point of view. And or occasionally you have Spock doing the log when Kirk is either, replaced by a robot or like missing. I wish we'd got to see more of a sense of Chakotay as captain, if only to give the actors something to do.
The classic.
The classic, But it was nice that, like, he seems to be a fairly fair captain. I like the part where when he's telling Kez, we don't have the resources to help you. I'm sorry. Because sometimes you think, like, if he'd be a bit more of a hard-assed captain than Janeway. But it's just like, we can't help you. I apologize.
Yeah. I was curious how far back they were going to go and whether they would get to a point where they would actually fix it rather than, all the way to the start. But those maniacs did it. And we got to see the Acampa Society, which, from what I've seen, this is apparently the last we will ever see of them. Which, I guess with Voyager constantly going through space, that it's not like they'll go backwards. And that back birth, like the back sacs that they give birth through, much cleaner than actually conceiving sounds.
With the mustard.
Yeah. With the mustard hands, with being stuck together for 6 days.
Do you think he had to go to Janeway and ask for time off?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, look, he just had to go to Janeway. It's very awkward. Look, I need a week off because I have to impregnate my wife. And it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
Good news is, childcare, only need it for a couple of years and then she'll be grown up and you've got a new crew member.
Yeah, who apparently is probably being, like, macked on immediately by Harry Kim.
At least she wasn't macked on by Neelix.
That's true. It was nice to see Neelix in, like, the Starfleet security uniform.
Actually, yes.
I wish we got some more, like, weirder indications that time has passed. Like, I don't know. I feel like we need an eye patch.
Oh, God. It's for future. There should be an eye patch if it's a dark future.
Like, or it's Neelix. He would have 2 eye patches. or like, I don't know, just someone missing an arm.
Yeah.
And also an eye patch.
Of course.
But one thing I did notice from the future, Harry Kim still has not been promoted.
Oh, you'd think if Chakotay moves up to captain and someone else gets moved up to commander, there would at least be a, succession of promotions.
I don't think it's like the Mirror Universe where the pious person dies and everyone advances in rank. At the same time, I love the idea of Chakotay's first, after becoming captain, Chakotay's like, all right, Tuvok, you're number 1, you're getting a promotion, Harry, it is the everyone here is an honorary globetrotter moment from Futurama, but Harry Kim Harry Kim chose that moment to have his Neelix's curry come back up, so he missed it from being in the toilet, and he comes back and Chakotay's like, yep, promotions are all done, everyone's been promoted, right? Harry just kind of puts his hand up. It's like, everyone's been promoted. Or maybe Janeway's dying words were, don't promote Harry.
Yeah. Then, I've kept this going as a bit for a couple of years. Please continue this. It's the longest running prank that I've done.
Although, as we see from Lower Decks, if you promote a Harry Kim, that Harry Kim goes psychotic immediately.
Yeah.
Which was one of the best jokes in that episode. With, I'm Harry, motherfucking Kim! Kaboom.
Yeah. One day we will have to get to that.
Alright, so, where is this going to go? How high is this going to go on the big list? And then flash backwards as it goes back down the list.
Yeah, so our big list currently stands at 180 things. Yes, we are on the road to 200.
180!
With that, we have Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan in the number 1 spot. Our halfway point is Lower Decks' Caves at number 90. And then down at the bottom, of course, where it belongs, in the filth, is Star Trek Section 31. And it's probably not even ashamed of that, but it should be.
It likes it.
It does. So yeah, rather than just insulting a line of text on a spreadsheet, this feels like it's a definite in the higher half.
Yeah, like it's a strong science fiction concept. It does something with Kez, which Voyager does not do that often, except Mustard Hands.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, let's see. In 67, we've got Magic to Make the Sanest Man Go Mad, where Stamets and Mudd get caught in a time loop, which was good fun.
Man, I do like that. I do like that one. I mean, okay. Quick question.
Yeah.
Better or worse than Threshold? Less insane than Threshold.
Yeah.
But I think, like, God, I love, like, Threshold is amazing in, like, all the wrong ways.
Mm.
But I think this is better for Threshold because there is a sense of the show maintaining dignity. Which Threshold does not have. By I did actually pick up the first issue of the Voyager Homecoming IDW miniseries.
Oh yeah,
and it opens with Janeway giving a log where she's reminiscing about times of Voyager which were important, and then it has a little panel of the salamander baby she gets mutated, and with the caption, "And there's some shit I just want to forget."
Yeah, that's fair. That and the Matrix clown. I think you're right about Threshold. The first half of it, you could see leading up to something more like, say, Sunshine or anything like that. We're doing these experiments which we shouldn't really do and getting obsessed and someone's falling apart. And then it shits the bed.
Oh, I fucking love Sunshine.
It's such a good film.
Like, it is. I feel like it got a really bad rap when it came out, but I feel like as time has gone on, I think people look back on it a lot fonder than they did.
See, I saw that shit in the cinema, and it was so good.
Oh, same here. Like, I feel it took a second watch because I admit the unexpected genre shift in like the last half hour did catch me by surprise, but goddamn, it's like, what a movie.
Yeah, I think better than Threshold. Though it hurts to say sometimes.
Which does make it BTT better than Tuvix.
Yep. So above that, let's see. Actually, yeah, as far as other so bad they're good. At 54, we've got Sub Rosa, the Sex Candle episode.
Oh man, is it wrong of me to say that Sub Rosa might be kind of better?
No, this is our list. We can do that.
Because, you know what? I have completely endorsed Star Trek The Next Generation basically doing a gothic horror romance with a sex candle on planet Scotland.
God, with a real early 90s TV budget as well. The sets are all very television. I kind of miss that. But
and like the one alien who was just like, I went to Scotland one day on like a holiday and I really liked it. And I thought, why not make a planet Scotland.
It is to blame for me making any Starfleet or Federation outposts themed historically around different things as well.
Okay. I can I ask something of you?
Hmm.
Next time you run a Star Trek campaign, can you do a planet Wales?
Oh yeah. Any whales in particular?
No, just Wales or a planet Brighton.
As long as there's not a London Road Hellmouth on it, but yeah, who
Wait.
knows?
What's that dark island over there? That's Molscoom Island. We do not talk of it. All right.
Okay, so under that we have Inquisition with Bashir getting all spied up with Section 30.
All spied up and nowhere to go. That's a good one. Oh man. Underneath that at number 56 is Prodigy's All the World's a Stage, where
That was good.
the crew of the Protostar find the planet which has kind of based itself off a crashed classic show shuttle. Okay, which one do you think is better?
God, I think like both have a lot of fun in their gimmicks. I think Before and After has a lot more heart and emotion to it, while All the World's a Stage has a lot of fun.
Yeah, I feel like All the World's a Stage also has a good amount of heart. I feel, actually thinking about it, thinking back to Space Adventure Hour, our last episode, I think All the World's a Stage is better about talking about the magic and what makes the original Star Trek so inspiring and foundational, a lot better than Space Adventure Hour does with its own Star Trek ripoff. But I agree, I think Before and After has a lot more heart.
Yeah.
Even if Harry Kim should be on a register.
He really needs to be. At least that version of Harry Kim. So is that going to put this at the new number 56?
I would have to say so.
Fantastic.
I mean, I might be biased because Inquisition is one of those few times when Star Trek does The Prisoner, and does The Prisoner very well.
It does. God, actually, yeah, at some point, if I do a Wales, it might have to be Portmeirion.
Okay. Is the entire planet going to be a giant village? Ooh. Okay.
Ooh. We'll see. God, I shouldn't promise this. I know what the next two campaigns of my RPG are. We're not getting to both of them by the end of the year. But yes, in fact, we might be going back to the Alien game. I need to message the players of that to see schedule-wise what we can do and whether we will actually see an alien, which I kind of hope not. I love it. I love the GM. I kind of hope we don't.
That's still amazing.
So, on that note, we are done with the starter for this episode. Now on to the main event. Episode 2 and 3. As we're doing a two-parter, we are doing Star Trek Voyager Season 4, Episodes 8 and 9, The Year of Hell. These aired on the 5th of November and the 12th of November 1997. Written by Brannon Braga and Joe Menosky. Part 1 was directed by Alan Croker. Part 2 by Mike Veja. Veja? I don't know. I'm going to say Veja and assume that it's come over into the real world.
His name is actually Voyager, but it got scratched off.
Mangled slightly.
It got mangled when he went through customs.
Exactly. The UK number 1 hit was Aqua's Barbie Girl, and the US, and I've realised that we're going to have this a lot because it was on the number 1 spot for way too many weeks, is once again Elton John with Candle in the Wind 1997 and Something About the Way You Look Tonight. I just can't escape it. I listened to Something About the Way You Look Tonight instead of Candle in the Wind last night, and it was a better experience, but it felt like it possibly shouldn't have been an Elton John song. It and the video felt a lot more swingersy than that, and of like, look at all these famous people dancing, and they're tiny on his piano. Ooh, he is some kind of cosmic joker.
But he's still really sad about Princess Diana.
He is. It does feel like it would never have shot to number one, especially for 14 weeks, if not for being a double single with that. But, yeah.
I mean, Barbie Girl is, it's mid-90s dance pop.
Oh, it's a classic.
It's a banger.
It is. I can't say it's good, but I don't care. It's still fun.
Yeah. Songs, when you take songs which are clearly designed to be danced to while drunk and potentially high on MDMA in a club, is it really meant to be good as long as you can dance to it?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a goddamn maniac.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
So, I have a bumper recap to do now.
Okay, so you need to recap the year of hell in about 5 minutes.
I'd like a little more than that. There's a lot going on here.
Okay, you have 7 and
I'm sure I talk about Tom Paris's chest hair at one point, so there's a lot to cover.
Well, okay, fine. You have 10 minutes to recap the year of hell, or else you're going to be erased from existence.
Oh no, I'll join Jeff.
Or maybe Jeff will come back.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe that's the price you have to pay to bring back Jeff. Okay, and Charlie, may your year in hell begin.
So, day 1, an ominous spaceship shoots at a planet, and all signs of civilization are wiped from it. Red Foreman from that 70s show is on the ship, kind of concerned. Oh, and he's called Annorax here, but my notes always have him listed as Red. He figured out that eradicating a colony would help his goal, but no, he needs to eradicate a whole species from time. Meanwhile, Voyager's testing out a new astrometrics lab and celebrating Seven and Harry, who made it, as they've gone through, as they've made some course changes that will take years, admittedly only 5, but still years, off of their journey. And that's cool. They're going to go through an area of space belonging to some people called Vazal. And the Doctor decides to make this all about him, as no one was talking about him enough. He starts doing a long speech, and thank God there's a call from the bridge. Janeway flees quickly. There's a tiny vessel firing at Voyager. It's too small to be any threat, and they're told to clear off. The same way that little yappy dogs used to bark at my greyhound. And he wouldn't really even notice it. But yeah, apparently this is Krenim's space, and Janeway all but laughs at his face for it. Day 4, the Zal seem pretty chill and cool guys. They say this is their space. The Krenim, however, think it's theirs and have been using time weapons. Speaking of which, they're back. They've got a bigger vessel and they're sending it to the Zal homeworld. They shoot it and the Zal are gone. They never existed. Instead, Voyager's mid-fight with the Krenim Empire and won't submit to the Imperium. Janeway says, this is turning to a week of hell, kind of optimistically. She's jinxed it. Oh well. The Krenim torpedoes are getting through the shields. They're wrecking things. Voyager flees. Red Foreman is in his office and an underling tells him they've completely restored their empire. Almost. It's like 98%. What about the colony at Kiana Prime? Nope. But the other 90%'s fixed. Apparently that's not good enough. Red doesn't care. And Red's mate, Obrim, says, this is getting a bit too much now, but tough. He's not boss. Red's boss. So it goes. Day 32. Voyager's getting chased and dinged up by the Krenim. The Doctor has to evacuate sickbay because it's about to blow up. He also, unfortunately, has to close a hatch on 2 extras who are too slow to get into the air vents. The mess hall's now going to have to do as an infirmary. Chakotay says their attempts at temporal shielding aren't working, and everyone wants to flee the ship on shuttles, but Janeway's not going to abandon it. Not now. Day 47. Kim and Torres are stuck on a lift playing trivia with each other until Seven rescues them. There's a quick nod to Star Trek First Contact, which was released last year. Paris has plans to section out the ship, inspired by the Titanic, but hopefully in a good way. Seven and Tuvok find an unexploded torpedo in a vent and barely get out before it goes off. Day 65. Replicators are fucked. Now they all have to eat Neelix's food and morale is low. In other news, it's Janeway's birthday! Hooray! Chakotay replicated a pocket watch from a doomed ship captain, and she tells him to bin it because they've got other priorities. Tuvok's blind from the explosion a couple of weeks earlier, and Seven's helping him on his rounds. She's been working on deflector mods, which might help. Neelix is in security and bothers Tuvok with his usual inane chatter. Then it's battle stations! A Krenim warship! The shields actually work. Janeway tells them to stand down with a bit of only barely earned confidence here. The Krenim time ship is busy erasing a different species from time when they hear about this. And there's a temporal shockwave which batters Voyager, and their Krenim enemy are now smaller. Their colonies are all gone. Apparently Red Foreman miscalculated somewhere, and Voyager's got a component, well, it is a component that's throwing all his calculations off. Voyager checks its astrometric maps, and because they're shielded, they can see both timelines and how things have changed. Red Foreman arrives and says, "Look, no hard feelings, but I'm going to have to erase you from time." You know, politely. He beams Chakotay and Paris off as samples, and the good news is the ship can only fly at warp 6, so Voyager flies at warp 7 to get away, even if it's getting a bit battered in its current state. Day 73. The ship's pretty much fucked. Life support's nearly gone. Janeway doesn't want to break up the family, but anyone who's not a main cast member is going to have to leave on escape pods, hopefully find their way home, and hopefully Voyager can deal with the Krenim. Bye everyone, good luck! And now, the conclusion. Day 133. Voyager's hidden in a big purple nebula, but some of the purples got into the ship. Kim and Janeway seal it out, but they both get injured, and the Doctor's very upset Janeway won't take time to recover. Chakotay and Paris are dragged out to a fancy breakfast buffet that Red Foreman has prepared. It's food from civilizations they've erased from time, and all exotic, even though one of them just looks like a garlic bread on some leaves. Voyager is still being an unpredictable anomaly, and Red wants to know their history so as to identify what needs removing. Paris realizes they've not found Janeway, and he doesn't want any friends or enemies they've made along the way to be erased. Chakotay, on the other hand, doesn't care so much. He will hear them out. On Voyager, the crew toast their distant friends and drink something foul that Neelix has made from food cubes. Fouler than usual, even. Power's back to almost 50%, and they can only go left, but Janeway doesn't care. She wants to make some allies and help fight back. Seven says they're fucked and can't do anything, but she's ignored and has a good moan with Tuvok. Day 161. Chakotay runs a simulation of a plan to steer Voyager away from Krenim space in the past. He removes an asteroid that would have accidentally erased over 8,000 civilizations. Oops! Red Foreman mentions this is his first change to the timeline, and he's done worse. In fact, Red Foreman erased the biggest enemy to the Krenim, but also caused a massive disease because the enemy had an antibody that would have stopped it. Now he's trying to undo his works, selling it to himself that all these civilizations that keep popping up and going never existed. So he's not a murderer, even though he's been doing this for literally 200 years now. At 180, micrometeors are hammering Voyager and Janeway's going to fix the deflector. It's on fire. She goes in anyway, gets horrendously burnt and all these scars. The Doctor relieves her on duty, but fuck that noise. Who's going to stop her? This is Janeway. No one can enforce Janeway. Day 207. Janeway reviews the damage to a hallway and has a look in Chakotay's quarters. They're a wreck, more so than usual. She finds the pocket watch she had ordered destroyed and attaches it to her belt. Paris is playing a game, a kind of chess-like game with Obrys, a guard who he's like fomenting discontent with, as Obrys and most of the crew are really annoyed with Red Foreman's mission. They've all lost loved ones who keep appearing and disappearing from time all over again, all thanks to Red Foreman. Paris reckons he can get a good mutiny going, but Chakotay says, whoa, hang on, I can do this, I can fix the timeline, sounding a bit like Red Foreman now. Paris says he can get a message to Janeway, even if Chakotay tells him not to do anything. Red is about to eliminate a species that would get 52% of his people back, and Chakotay tries to talk him down. Nope! He shoots for Homeworld, and Paris is seething about this. Chakotay confronts Red, saying, look, even individual lives are precious. And Red explains, yeah, they are. Kiana Prime had his wife, his children, his grandchildren, and they were erased from the timeline, and they never seem to come back. It's like time, it has it in for him. He wasted so much of his life on work. He never made time for his family, and now all he's got is a lock of his wife's hair in a paperweight on their time-protected ship. Word comes back, yep, 52% of the Empire's back, not Kiana Prime, so it's back to the drawing board, and everyone sighs unhappily. The mutiny plans, they're ticking over, and Tom trusts that Janeway's still alive, so he shoots that message off, no matter what Chakotay says. Day 226. Voyager has new allies. The Mawasi.
Oh.
Well.
Red Foreman's behavior. This is why I don't try and platinum video games.
Mm-hmm.
I know what
I
know what my obsessive personality is like, and I don't need that to be part of my obsessive personality.
Oh, my partner's got quite good at platinuming things. Like, when she's on a mission, she gets on a mission. I've long since given up having that level of dedication. I've platinumed, I think, 3 things to her 15.
And finished a recap from hell.
Yeah. So, day 226. Voyager has allied with the Mawasi and the Nadiran people, and Paris's coordinates mean it's time to bring the fight to the time ship. Paris and Obrys are going to lower the temporal core, and the ship's shielding is pretty rubbish. It's paper thin, so they should be able to be stopped. The crew of Voyager's going to join the other ships, and Janeway's going to pilot Voyager solo, go down with the ship. Tuvok reckons she's doomed, and yeah, probably. Now have a nice bit of a hug. Day 257. Voyager and co have arrived at the time vessel. They arm up and intercept them. Red Foreman reckons he's impervious to them, so he doesn't care. So, it's time for a coup! Obrys and Paris power down the temporal core. The ship's still powerful, though, so a bunch of vessels are hit, and one of them smashes into Voyager, scraping the top of it apart. It's brutal. The torpedo launchers are wrecked. Everything's fucked. Janeway just aims Voyager at the temporal core, hits the accelerator, tells everyone to down their time shield so that when things reset, they'll be affected too. Red Foreman sees his wife's hair hit the ground, breaking the paperweight, and then it vanishes. And then the ship blows up. Day 1. Voyager's having some quiet time after celebrating their new astrometrics lab. They enter Krenim space, but are warned against it. Apparently the territory is in dispute. They wisely take the advice and decide to steer around. Over on Kiana Prime, Red Foreman's busily working on several tablets. His wife comes along, says maybe enjoy the nice day, and he decides he'll do that, leaving his calculations for weird time weapons behind, and goes off and joins her.
2 minutes and 6 seconds.
Hey!
So, Charlie.
Yeah!
Have you ever had a problem where you've obsessed about it for long enough, and then you just finally realize that the problem was you all along.
I mean, again, I've given up on doing Soulsborne games pretty much because of that. Like, I have poor memory, bad reflexes, bad spatial awareness. I am not going to be an expert at a Soulsborne. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I know sometimes I've tried supporting colleagues who are just really bad. Like new folks where you go, oh yeah, you're not great, you're a bit of an underdog, I'll help you out. And then you realise, oh no, they're just cursed. They are not going to be saved here. They will not save themselves. And I can try, but it's just have to walk away. But yeah, what about you?
Don't get me started. There was a point a few years ago when a position opened up, and at work I was like, I'm gonna apply for this position. I'll get it, and I'll use like the extra money and changing hours to finally fix all the problems in my own life. Now I stopped and went, actually no, this is what I keep saying every time I'm in this situation, and nothing changes. So fundamentally, the problem is me.
Yeah. Wow. On that note, this was a good episode.
I have a second question for you, Charlie.
Oh no.
Is Annorax one of the best villains in all of Star Trek?
He was great fun.
Like, and it's not just because he's played by Kurtwood Smith, who is a fantastic character actor.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know being Flip calling him Red Foreman all the time because that is what he is to me, but he gave a great performance.
Red Foreman, the guy from RoboCop, or the guy you hire when Michael Ironside is out of your price range. but God damn it, he is really good, and I wish we got more villains like this in Star Trek.
Oh God!
Instead of just trying to replicate Khan, because he's evil, but he has a point of view where it's like, okay, I can see why he's evil, and he is tragic and sympathetic in places, but at the same time, he is monstrous. Like, you have the scene where he has Tom and Chakotay sit down for dinner, and he's just like, oh yeah, this is stuff I've collected. This is the last bottle of wine of a race that doesn't exist. And you have and like, Tom is just like, I'm not fucking eating this. I am.
Yeah, that is so callous. And I love it. He is, the thing is, sometimes villains have a bit too much of a point. Like in, in Captain America and Falcon and Winter Soldier? Yeah. With the flag smashers and all that, where it's like, yeah, fucking abolish borders. Go on. Like, not the shop that is already abolished, but, refugees should be looked after, all of this. But of course, they have to go slightly too far at the last minute to make this authoritarian kind of superhero thing valid. And I hate how common that sort of thing is. And even with Star Trek, of going, yeah, this guy's got points, but we're going to find a way to make that bad, actually. And this guy is doing terrible things. Yes, he is relatable, but that doesn't stop him being a monster.
It never feels like... It doesn't feel like they're doing, say, a Thanos, where they're trying to go, oh, he's trying to do it for good reasons. Because, like, he's basically... His initial doing it is to make his people the top dog. Yeah. So he's fundamentally doing it for like nationalistic reasons. It's just when he completely arses up and just goes all in on sunk cost fallacy.
There's the wife angle, which, while it's that thing of, it has a bit of a personal thing, but effectively, if you could just do over again and again and again, and you're not going to age, you're not going to get affected by it, you can literally just save scum reality again and again, then you get that thing of shit, while it would mean making and unmaking civilizations and all of that, you can see why he did it and how 200 years of that would not only make him far more callous about going, here, this garlic bread from a civilization who doesn't exist anymore, but also would really fucking piss off his crew. Going like, I mean, we're not doing these calculations for the colony where my wife and children are, or were, or won't be anymore. Yeah.
I find it funny that that the person who is trying to build the mutiny is Tom Paris. Meanwhile, Chakotay, the former Marquis insurgent, is just like, actually, if you listen to him, he's got a point.
I can change him.
Yeah, like, again, I know we kind of trash on Robert Beltran a lot in this show.
Yeah. I mean, Beltran is a piece of shit, but yeah.
Much like in the way with, like, yeah, Shatner is kind of not always the best human being, but like when he's trying, you can see why he was such a good actor. When Chakotay is actually given material to work with, it's actually nice to kind of see the actor kind of seem like light up. Like, oh, I'm actually doing something this week. I'm not just like Sigourney Weaver in Galaxy Quest, where I'm repeating what the computer says.
Yeah, and I mean, interviews with him, while he was generally a bit shitty at the same time, even he was like, yeah, they didn't often give me stuff to do. And it's like, yeah, they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good seeing those different viewpoints and that they weren't both singing from the same hymn sheet. With it. That was definitely a useful thing to do. And yeah, their prison outfits, it was like, oh yes, hang on, I need to pop some collars here. It's like, right, okay, Tom, all right. Like, the guy who played Obrist was good fun. With that, just the real seething resentment. Like, I'm the second in command, I'm the kith of this ship.
Oh god, could you imagine Zach Brannigan with a time ship?
Oh, that'd be really unpleasant. You'd need some kind of HR there, because it's not going to go well. Emma sold me on this, going, this was going to be a season. Like, this was originally going to be a whole season of the show. And that, while I would be annoyed at undoing a whole season of development, of events, things like that, I could see that being fun. Like, to have a whole season of this kind of thing. While you don't have to hand it to Rick Berman, I can see why he said no.
I do have like some, I do have some kind of, counters. While I do agree that having actual development happen on the show, you wouldn't be able to keep that momentum going for like 22 episodes, because even the shows as plot heavy and arc heavy as Babylon 5 got in like seasons 3 and 4 still had episodes where it wasn't all about the main plot, and it was just kind of like, yeah, the big kind of arc stuff is going on over here, but we've just got some shenanigans with Bester, or Garibaldi gets harassed by an alien called a Zog, being controlled by Robert Englund. We can have the plot going, but still have the weekly TV show. Because how many times have we complained that Discovery is all in on this very kind of spaced out HBO plot, but never stops to have never stops to actually properly do a Star Trek?
I was thinking exactly that. The thing of the current era, you get too much of that, where, we are going to have to revisit more Discovery at some point, but it is tricky finding them and treating them on their own without going, in my notes, oh yeah, this is just a continuation of this bit.
I do have a more existential of why it was a good thing that Year of Hell got turned from a season to a two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
The 1984 Dune movie. We had to have that and have it bomb so David Lynch could write Blue Velvet, get Blue Velvet made by Dino De Laurentiis, who promised that he would, whatever he made after Dune, he would make, and then set David Lynch on the direction that would give us Twin Peaks, arguably the most influential TV show from the 90s onward. In the same way, we had to have Year of Hell be this mess and have Voyager kind of be a bit of a mess like this. So Ron Moore could go, right, we're going to do this correctly with modern Battlestar Galactica.
Oh god, yeah. Watching this made me want to go back to BSG. You know, I loved the Ron Moore BSG. I don't mind the ending of it.
I like the ending.
But yeah, as a show, watching it get increasingly fucked up as a ship was a delight. Going, yeah, this is a real shaky kind of thing. Like, I always liken it to some kind of real, like, someone's used it as an ashtray and it really shouldn't have been for a long time here.
Like, I think like one of my favorite parts in BSG is that there's the point where they're so hungry they're eating paper. And then I think as a few episodes later, you have Adama and just Ty talking about stuff, and Ty just goes, yeah, things are bad. Paper shortage. And they just start cackling hysterically because that's how bad things have gotten.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
From this, you know, like reading the BSG series Bible that Ron Moore did, you can see the vitriol to what he wasn't allowed to do in Star Trek's, mainly hitting off of Voyager. Same with Brian Fuller going off from Voyager to do Dead Like Me, and then, you know, like Wonderfalls, Pushing Daisies, Hannibal, and all that, where people went into it with a bunch of goals, couldn't always manage it. Like, they did what they could, but went on and did great things.
And the thing is, sometimes, you know, I think it's one of those things that, you know, when looking at our media, we do have to take into account that, you know, you're never going to get a perfect work. And, you know, sometimes it is time or the fact that the work fails that ends up making it a success. Like, I always think of the original Mobile Suit Gundam was meant to be 52 episodes, but due to low ratings and bad toy sales, it got cancelled. But they were able to get like 4 episodes to basically wrap up the show very quickly. And then the show got a lot more popular in reruns. But I personally maintain that condensing the show from the original plan to a much more intense conclusion gave you a lot of the things which would then make the show iconic out of sheer pure creative desperation.
Yeah.
Or Doctor Who with the Doctor getting exiled to Earth for the Pertwee era was purely out of budget, was basically to save money. And I think that made like one of the strongest eras of the show by basically going, right, we can't keep doing all this time and space shenanigans. Let's just set it in the West counties with some squaddies for a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think I've just got to the point where he's got his TARDIS up and running now. But what is it? Carnival of Monsters was the last one I saw, and yeah, like having him based on Earth, making do with what was there, running around a load of quarries, some villages, the Isle of Wight at one point. Yeah, it worked well for him. But yeah, it's always interesting with long-running media, how you can use the restrictions of it and all of that. And in a two-parter like this, you get to break it. You get to have great fun. I know Tim Russ was pretty pleased about getting to have a bit of a relationship with Seven, which frankly makes a lot more sense from what I've heard. Ends up being the Seven relationship much further down the road.
And it's not even like a romantic relationship. It's just like, as far as I can tell, you know, it's because of Seven that Tuvok gets blinded, and it feels like she sticks with him to help him out of guilt, even though it's never said. It's never explicitly said, I'm doing this because I feel guilty for blinding you.
Yeah.
And then you see their relationship become one of almost like a very mentor-mentee relationship in the first part, to become a much more equal relationship where Tuvok can just like acknowledge her as being an equal and a peer.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Tuvok was going to lose a leg as well, but they didn't have the budget for it.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining Tim Russ just hopping.
I know, hopping while like he does a lot of blind acting, kind of feeling his way around and being helped around by Seven. Adding hopping to the mix would not have been good.
No, it would just be like that one episode of Blackadder where Blackadder has to pretend to be the prisoner
Oh,
who
God.
lost a leg. Okay, slight question. You know the scene where you have Tuvok shaving
Yeah.
in the broken mirror? Do you think the mirror got broken in all the battles, or do you think Tuvok just punched that mirror, pissed off at his situation? Because the way I read it was Tuvok has broke that mirror in like a moment of emotional lapse because of just the rage and anger at being blinded.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult with a Vulcan for that kind of thing. Because, if he was a human or even half Vulcan, I'd be like, yeah, probably. I don't know if we see him lash out in anger at other points, aside from, when he's getting a bit of a mind meld with a serial killer. But yeah, who knows? Maybe it's a little bit of that, kind of Brad Dourif still in there.
Yeah. Man, I feel like this is a strong two-parter. I feel episode 2 kind of does lose momentum as we spend more time with Annorax and Tom and Chakotay, and whenever it cuts back to Voyager, it's basically Janeway becoming more and more just done with the situation. Although that was some great acting from Kate Mulgrew.
Oh God.
I feel like the rest of the crew just kind of fall by the wayside, which is a shame. Because I love the Doctor in part 1 agonizing about having to leave some crewmen behind.
Well, yeah, part 2 feels very much like it is Janeway versus Annorax, and both of them as equally dedicated, kind of doomed captains. Yeah, I mean, apparently episode 1 they figured out pretty quickly, and episode 2 took them a while to break the story of and work out. And Berman was just like, it doesn't matter, just plow Voyager into the weapon ship and reset the timeline and no one remembers, which is exactly what they didn't want, but what they did.
Like, Janeway gets getting more and more just dedicated to just keeping it going, despite the fact everything is literally falling apart around her. Even like her, she gets like horrendously scarred. And it's a good arc, but feels like Janeway of the Year of Hell becomes increasingly masculine, if you know what I mean. We're just being like that very kind of obsessed Captain Ahab type figure, and we see her lose aspects of like her being her scientific curiosity, or just like her ability to be both compassionate and then just pull out just like that steel bar of I will be nice, I will be kind, I will be compassionate, but if I have to turn around and just kind of if I have to turn around and then kill a Tuvix, I will kill a Tuvix and make the buck stop with me.
Yeah.
And Harry Kim still doesn't get promoted.
No, all throughout it. And he doesn't marry a 2-year-old at least, so
no.
there are some positives.
Do you think there was a point when the rest of the crew had evacuated and like Harry's like, right, since there are 7 people and I'm outranked by 7 who doesn't have an actual Starfleet rank, can I get a promotion, please? Even if it's just Lieutenant JG.
No. Just no.
No.
Yeah, I was torn. Like, after finishing it, I was chatting with Emma and saying, I'm really torn about, it would have been nice if someone remembered and there was some lasting thing, but also, given the way it goes, I don't know if anyone would be able to experience all of this and be the same.
Yeah.
You'd kind of wreck a character almost.
Do you think, okay, Annorax's thing about time having moods and being almost kind of sentient, do you think he's onto something, or do you think he's just being crazy?
I think it's just, Moby Dicking time. Almost.
Yeah.
That kind of thing of, he's been at this enough that time has it in for him in his mind. And whatever it is, whatever little thing it is that he's missed that meant that Kiana Prime colony never happened, like, he is just so fixated that there's probably a solution, and he's probably being blind to it. And frankly, smashing the time ship as the solution maybe should have been something that got floated. But I'm guessing Obrist or someone mentioned it in a team meeting. And it's like, no, that's obviously not right.
I'm glad he got a happy ending. I'm glad that the final shot of the episode is he gets what he wants, but not in the way he was going about it.
He gets both a villain ending and a sympathetic ending, because him watching everything crumble around him, watching the paperweight with his wife's hair smash, and as that enters the time stream, the hair vanishing, is a good kind of, oh yeah, you, like, Annorax the villain? Fuck that. But then, yeah, the sympathetic ending to Annorax that wasn't made into this.
Okay, when the triangle thing smashed, did you get a flashback to the part 1 where Janeway has the lucky teacup which survived the first first week of attack, and then the cup falls and smashes?
Oh, I didn't think of the comparison there, but yeah, that's great. Yeah, that moment with Janeway and the teacup of, like, yeah, I guess any moment of civility or politeness or goodness is just fucked for a while. We're just having to put that aside and bring, like, hardcore Janeway into play.
I'm sorry, I just saw something really funny. You think Neelix has a higher rank than Harry Kim when he becomes security officer?
I didn't check. I hope he has the Marquis style, like oval thing. But God, I kind of want to find out now,
because that would be so fucking hilarious.
That would be brutal. Like, Janeway, that would be so cruel at that point.
Captain, I would like to. I request to join your crew formally join your crew as a security officer. Okay, Mr. Neelix, we're making you a lieutenant commander, and you just hear Harry Kim's just like, "Oh, son of a bitch!"
God, I mean, the action figure of him doesn't look like it has any pips.
Okay,
so yeah. Well, maybe they're like, we're giving you a uniform because we're running out of clothing, but we do not trust you. Sorry, yeah, just derail the podcast to go, did Neelix have any pips?
Does O'Brien have a rank pip in DS9? Because O'Brien is enlisted, so it's like, is he... I don't know. I don't know where he is in the command structure of Deep Space Nine, except the most important person.
There is... But, yeah, I can't... Because, yeah, he's definitely had pips or had something on.
I think we're getting too uncasual about this because we're now debating, like, whether or not Neelix has rank pips.
Yeah.
Outside of a basic joke of, how could Janeway make Harry's life more insufferable?
Yeah, I mean, that's why, really, with this. But, yeah, okay. It's all right. If we find out, we will put it in the show notes. But assume that yes, she did only increase him to Lieutenant Junior grade to spite Harry.
This is casual Trek lore, much in the same way that Worf had to have a meeting because he killed a guy in Genesis.
Yeah. I liked this. From what I've seen, the cast were generally positive, apart from the ending, which they felt was a bit too clean. And I get it. Like, it's interesting chatting with a couple of people now about what episode we were due to be recording. Actually, some of them were like, yeah, I liked the ending and the way that panned out. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't mind it. It was a little too clean, but this is when I was doing media studies, they specifically mentioned Star Trek in the kind of equilibrium, distortion, equilibrium kind of network TV show kind of style. So I get it.
Yeah, like, like this is one of those shows because, also with Star Trek, it's one of those shows which is made with an eye of like towards like syndication.
Yeah, definitely.
And so it's just like you don't want this to be a continuing show because it could just be you catch this at like 6 o'clock on a Friday night, but and this is the episode that's on, so you want it to be as accessible as possible. Unlike, say, like your big prime time, like your soap operas, like your Dallas or your Dynasties or your Twin Peaks, where it is an evolving narrative.
Yeah. So, with all of that, we have this two-parter to stick up on the big list. So, where on earth is this going to go?
Okay, we have quite a few two-parters on our...
And that said, yeah, there are still a lot more to go. And weirdly, I think most from Voyager.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 two-parters.
How many does TNG have?
8. And DS9 has 9, aptly enough.
Yeah. And 1 13 kind of parter.
We'll get to it. We will get to it. I have, looking at our list, there's Unification in 27 of Picard and Data crossing over with Spock and infiltrating some Romulans. Now, I love some time business. So, like, what was it? Cause and Effect is our highest TNG. So you can see time nonsense is something I quite like, but...
Like, I'm a Doctor Who fan, you're an X-Men fan. Let's be honest, time-traveling bullshit shenanigans is X-Men's bread and butter.
Yeah.
I mean, time travel is mostly a plot device in Doctor Who until, like, Stephen Moffat turns up and starts making, like, time travel a heavy focus. But, like, you're all about dark future timelines.
So many. In fact, as this airs, we will be just about to enter a new dark future timeline in the X-Men with the Age of Revelation.
Okay, so quick question.
Yeah.
So is this, is Year of Hell, is this an Age of Apocalypse, or is this an Age of X? No, not Age of X. What is the one that happened what is the one you just recently did?
Age of X. Yeah.
Age of X.
This is an Age of X.
Okay,
Age of X has been constantly hammered by human forces. Admittedly, Age of X turns out to all be an illusion from Legion, but that sense of constant pressure and the relationships, for friendships, for the injuries that happen, all happen during that time. And as far as everyone remembers, that is reality. So yeah, I think this is closest to that, because Age of Apocalypse is too glam, and Age of X-Man is the weird kind of, like, Nate Gray, the X-Man, decided everyone was too horny, and that's why the X-Men would always fail. So he decided to make a kind of Vocel reality. And that went wrong because guess what? They still were horny. They just were illegally horny now.
I don't know. I think that we do have an Age of Apocalypse in Star Trek, but it's the DS9 mirror universe.
Oh, hell yeah. Right, anyway. The ranking. Yeah. Unification, I think, is probably better, because it is two of your main boys from TNG with one of your main boys from the original series, and there's a lot of good Jerry Taylor stuff.
It's a big political space opera.
It is,
and yeah, and it's a good. It's also a good conclusion for Spock. As like a narrative, like full circle.
Yes. I mean, a couple down, we got Subspace Rhapsody, which is the Star Trek musical. And I don't know about you, but I feel episodes like that and the Space Adventure Hour, I would be a lot more appreciative of them if there were more episodes in general, and then have some whimsical nonsense. But yeah, it's still good.
So you're saying that Arena, which is number 28 on the big list, is better than the Year of Hell?
Oh, I like it, and it is iconic as hell. I think I prefer the story of Year of Hell.
Yeah.
But also I get that the Gorn, the rocks, all of that are such a big thing.
But as we said, this is our list, and sometimes we have gone, okay, we have sometimes ranked things highly because they're iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Like Star Trek 2 is good, and also it's iconic.
It is, yeah. Yeah, they'll keep trying to chase that glory.
Yeah.
Many a year.
Seriously, I think the only attempt we've had by Star Trek to kind of do another Annorax is fucking Nero from the 2009 movie. And that's just sad.
See, I was thinking when we watch Generations, the villain from that will feel like he could have been this. But yeah, Nero's definitely closer.
Oh, man, like, if Annorax was played by Malcolm McDowell, there would okay, first of all, it would be 10 out of 10, but there would be no, like, hint of tragedy, because you look at him and go, he's Malcolm McDowell, he's clearly the bad guy.
Yes, he is a crazy man. It's like, yeah, the crew wouldn't mutiny because of fear. Don't get me wrong, like, Smith did a wonderful job here, and yeah, adds so much more, like, a good level of pathos compared to a lot of the villain actually had some good points kind of thing. It's like, well, he didn't, like, he had sympathetic motivations, but he's bad. It's like watching season 1 of Daredevil and constantly going back and forth between, Wilson Fisk, so many sympathetic things. Oh dear God, he battered someone's head in with a car door. Oh no, he's a monster.
We're saying that this is better than Arena, but not as good as Unification.
Okay, yeah. Like, again, I loved Arena. I know it's only, 3 episodes ago that we did it, but yeah, this was really well written, really well presented.
And even with the ending being not... But it's the thing is when you have when you have stories which are about history being changed, the conclusion usually ends up being, we put the timeline right. It's like the Stephen King novel 11/22/1963. I really love that novel. It's one of King's best. But the moment the plot is like, the plot is going to be, we have to stop Kennedy's assassination, you kind of know what the ending is going to be, because it's going to be, well, unless the novel, the ending is going to be, he puts the timeline right.
Yeah, like in ongoing media, I would like to think people are getting more savvy with these kind of things, to go, you get that we have to put the genie back in the bottle, but also we can have a lot of fun. So like whenever anyone just dead emotionally goes, oh, that superhero is going to come back instantly when one of them dies, it's like, yeah, but was this a good story? Did they die well? Like, they'll come back, and hopefully they'll come back well, but did they die well?
It's the thing is, I think superhero comics needs more keyfabe. Like in wrestling, like, you need to basically kind of go, yep, the suspension of disbelief of, yes, Peter Parker is going to actually be Doc Ock in Peter Parker's body for a couple of years. Let's just enjoy the ride.
Oh, the Spider-Man fans lost their shit so hard. Like, I was there. I started buying Slot Spider-Man with Superior, because I was like, I'm morbidly curious. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy it and see it, and it will go back. But I'm going to enjoy this ride.
It's like with like the 90s Azrael Batman, or like the death and return of Superman. It's like, yeah, we know the character's going to come back, but let's just enjoy the story they're trying to tell. And yeah, I like the ending of Superior Spider-Man. If only for the Green Goblin realizing that Peter Parker is back in his body when Peter Parker makes a crack about his man purse, and he's just like, "Oh, fuck, it's you."
Just you. Yeah. So good. Yeah. You could really hear the Willem Dafoe in that speech bubble. But yeah, like that, like the experience of, again, letting yourself believe, oh my god, they're stuck like this forever now. This is the year of hell. We know, but we don't care. We're willing to go along for the ride and go, oh shit, it's so fucked right now.
It's like the downside of like nearly so many of the season finales of modern Doctor, of like the Russell T Davies era of Doctor Who being, oh shit, it's the Daleks again. You can only kind of keep that momentum so much, because like, yeah, the Doctor's going to beat the Daleks. The Doctor always beats the Daleks. You just have to play along. You just have to suspend your disbelief of what they're going to kind of try and do with the story.
Yeah. If you want ongoing media, that's what you're going to need. It's like, I remember the kind of thought experiment of people going, what if the episode of Buffy where she was in an asylum was true? And she was. It's like, cool, you've ended a show. Like,
Yeah, you've ended.
And you've made all the previous couple of seasons worthless. But yeah, sure, why not?
It's like there's a long running kind of thing with Pokemon fans, which at the end, like, where it's like, oh yeah, everything Ash experienced throughout the entire show was actually a dream he was having as he was dying of injuries sustained at the end of episode 1 of the show, when he gets electrocuted by Pikachu. It's like, that's not clever, that's not funny, that's just like the most generic edgelordy kind of joke you could do. It's like, oh, what if this kid's cartoon was actually all just really dark?
It's like, it's funny to think about for a second.
Yeah.
Go, haha, oh yeah, okay, carry on. Like, doesn't really add anything. But yes, what does add anything is, as yes, we've had our a long chat about these things here, and the hour's drawing near. So we have our year of hell in position 28. We have not made a year 2025 joke so far, so that feels good. People, fans, listeners, insert your own instead. But with that, we ought to say what we're doing next time.
Do we have to? I mean, do we really have to? Could we just stop the show now?
But Mo, why?
Can we erase the podcast from existence?
We have one of your favorite IPs that's going to be covered.
Okay, I can't remember most of the Star Trek TNG Star Trek X-Men crossovers. I know they're kind of fun, but like, I'll take those over. I would take Star Trek Planet of the Apes crossover over having to. There's a Star Trek Planet of the Apes crossover comic.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of great.
There's a Star Trek Green Lantern one.
Yep.
Or that Star Trek? Hang on. Is there a Star Trek and there is Star Trek Green Lantern, and is there a Star Trek Legion of Superheroes? Or am I getting these mixed? There's two. Okay, all right.
I don't think I got any of the Star Trek Green Lantern, but I did get Star Trek Legion. Despite loving Chris Robertson, I remember absolutely nothing about it. So,
and like, okay, right. Like the Star Trek Transformers one. I like the fact it's done in the style of the animated series, which, I think is a neat little conceit.
Yeah.
But God, I would take all of those over having to do Doctor Who, Star Trek: The Next Generation, Assimilation 2, or Assimilation Squared, or Assimilation Fuck My Life.
Yes. Finally, we are doing it. As Tech War was promised so much, so many times. So was Assimilation Squared.
This is revenge for all the hashtag Blake's Boys references, which I haven't made in a while.
You haven't. You've been very well behaved.
I've been very well behaved. I might have to start bringing it back as revenge for Assimilation Squared.
I am so curious. I bought it and then I forgot it existed and missed the final issues. So I don't remember any of it. It's going to be fascinating.
I remember what a wasted opportunity it was, with some of the worst aspects of condensed storytelling happens.
So, yeah. So next time you'll get to experience us experiencing that. I'm sure it'll be a grand time. I've already tormented the Chat Out of Hell podcast by showing them the advert for the Special Olympics that was a one-page comic with Meatloaf on it. So I feel it's just that I bring this energy here as well.
Oh my god. All right. Okay. Fine. I hate it. Charlie, where can people find you?
Well, they can find us in Casual Trek on ko-fi.com/Casual Trek. Throw us some money and suggest a topic, a theme. Do you want to see the Planet of the Apes Star Trek comic covered by us? Go there. We'll go ape for it, I'm sure. Yeah. See us on Blue Sky on casualtrek.bsky.social. See our Facebook page that exists now. And you can find me specifically on fakedtales.com, where I really need to get my next 2000 AD article uploaded. And Sprigs and Kindling, Volume 4, Issue 1 of 2, because there were so many contributions. They split 250 pages of RPG material for the public access RPG into two whole issues. I am in issue 1 with Deep Lake Calling, a guide to UK nostalgic items. Yes, I'm teaching the Americans about Bash Street Kids. I'm teaching them about so many things, guys. Check it out. It's only 2 pages, but it's...
Charlie, can you stop stealing my shtick from my actual life, where I get to tell Americans about Grange Hill?
Oh, Grange Hill's in there.
And all the many, many, many pointless deaths that occur in this one London-based comprehensive school.
And Miles, where can they find you aside from tormenting your nearest Americans?
They can find me on my blog at mareedlobato.wordpress.com or on Miles Reed Lobato or on Blue Sky at milesreedlobato.bsky.social.
Wow. Okay, well, with that, do a Starfleet and don't wreck the timeline. It's bad enough already.
If you have a choice between spending time with your partner and touching grass, or working on a way to make the timeline wonky, always choose your partner in grass. Go and touch grass.
Yeah. Go see your partner. I'm going to. Well, not your partner, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to fly over, we can hang.
It's all right. I will inevitably share some memes about Pokemon to the chat with you both. It's painfully inevitable. So, yeah, and eat a culture's last remaining jelly baby from before it was removed from time.
You have been listening to Casual Trek, a Nerd and Tie podcast, presented by Charlie Etheridge Nunn and Miles Reed Lobato. Music by Alfred Etheridge Nunn. Edited by the hosts and by Rhianna Reed Lobato. Star Trek is owned by Paramount. Not us. Not yet.